Alrighty, what is up, everyone, from the Mi Prefecture along the east coast of Japan? We are at one of the classic circuits in all of the world, Suzuka, where you've got some guys about to do some racing. I am Kid and Petter, joined alongside by not Bodhad. I believe that he got confused, along with some of these drivers, with daylight savings time this past weekend. A lot of guys thinking that the race was, I think, in an hour. But instead, we've got our sixth string test commentator, reserve commentator, R-Bar. What's going on?
Oh, not too much, man. If you want, I'll try to, pretend I'm Australian so you don't miss Godhod too much.
Yeah, that would be nice. I usually spend most of my Tuesday afternoons just thinking of a way to introduce him. After about 40 races together, it's really difficult to come up with new phrases. I was going to say that he's a lover of kangaroo jerky, a kangaroo jerky enthusiast from the south of Australia. But yeah, I don't know anything about you, so this is just Roger Barfield. Everybody, welcome to AM2. We're riding along with Bama right now. Bama won last weekend from Abu Dhabi, from Yas Queen Marina Circuit. In a very convincing win where he outdueled both Freddie and championship leader Acosta. We'll get to the championship standings in just a little bit, but he is now in P2. A couple of times coming in, Sazan Pat 96, reserving, usually an EU3 for Racing Point, the Greek national. And of course DK has actually topped that already with a 28.363. The pole time last season was set by guess who, R-Bar?
Well, I think I know this one. Is it by chance yourself?
It was indeed me, and I do hate this circuit. So that was nice. It was a 26.4. Believe that we're going to see faster times here today. These are not representative in the 28s to what they're doing. Very tricky to get one lap down. A lot of weird traction zones, of course, and a lot of interesting ways to invalidate Bama's first run there. It's going to be a 9.48. I'm trying to pull up the stream so I can read the comments. It's probably
not bad, thank you.
It's probably Joel. Yeah, not bad. 26.9. There were only two 26s in AM2 last season. It was both Peyton and myself. There was actually probably the largest gap around here. Compared to the other circuits. Freddie has come in and put in a 27.2. Believe he just woke up from a nap. Had to wait an extra couple of minutes, but I think he joined too late, as a matter of fact. So he might be starting at the back. That is something to keep an eye on here. Let's see who's on a hot one. I believe that's... I do want to mention Steven. I believe he has replaced Rumfresh. Things got a little too busy for him this season. Hopefully we'll see him back later. At a later date, but Steven has replaced him full-time at the Renault, partnering Motor City. And I think he finished P6 last week. He had a pretty solid race. So see if the EU4 driver, I think he's doing both full-time, so he's the U of the lower categories, essentially.
Well, he was I was a little surprised that he jumped on the chance for an AM2 seat, but he's actually a third driver for EU4. So when he reserved an AM2,
so he's not full time.
Not over on the EU side of things, but now he's full time over here. So he kind of stole him, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, well, he is from Wales, so it is pretty late over there. So hopefully he can. He's been crushing the Red Bulls or Rich Energies. Whichever one you choose. I guess they have Monster too, don't they? Or you could just be an adult and drink coffee like normal. I think Andrew, actually, fun fact, the highest finisher of the returners. That has been the case in most circuits. But Andrew, if you're looking at it, all the way down in P4 in the championship, he's already basically a race off of Bama and D-Crime. 25 points behind P2. It hasn't been the season he's won as Acosta, I believe, has lagged out. He is the championship leader with it's only 38 points through the first 4 races. So hopefully he can come back and continue doing what he does. I do want to touch up on a couple of things. Wayo Flow does have a qualifying ban. He was supposed to serve it last week, but the Guatemalan did not get that message in time, and he actually wound up qualifying on pole. Race didn't go too well, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, because his races from pole in both Hungary and last week in Abu Dhabi did not go particularly well. So maybe doing it the other way around will help, as Andrew goes P3 with a 27.7. Bama says that he has overfueled his car. I think that is Shopee 326, a Matt Ryan fan, I believe. Ooh, that's interesting.
Don't see many of those.
Yeah, not a whole lot of those. Not a whole lot of those guys kicking around. But I believe that is his engineer, confirming that he put a little too much fuel in there. Still, 26.9 is at the tippity top of everyone thus far.
Motown's on the hot lap.
Who is?
Motown.
Oh,
Motor City.
Motown Motor City. We will see where he goes. Noted Matthew Stafford fan.
Oh, that's even worse than that, right?
I don't know. I would take Stafford over Matter. That's neither here nor there. Not a good lap from Motor. Almost got validated down to 28.8. He is currently P5 in the championship on 28 points. Yeah, let's see any flyers. I think DK just started one. Might be some guys quicker. Sozon. Pat, he's going to be reserving this week. Joel Granger says Bush Light or Bush Light. I mean, I will take Bush Light. In fact, I have a Bush Light right now. Please close your ears, admins. it's performing its enhancing job, what can I say? Sozon. Sozon has coming around 130R. See what kind of time you can put in. He invalidated his first run, stayed on for another one. You don't want to be on those tires at the start of the race. It is imperative to take these softs for as long as possible, up into P4 for Sozon. Yeah, it is. How many laps do you think you get out of the softs from the top 10? It's about 10, 11? What did you do today?
I want to say 9.
And then that'll be right back on to mediums. Or an undercut to hards. There's been a lot of debate in the paddock this week.
A little iffy. I don't know if I'd do it, but
I don't think they're really that different in terms of pace. Probably about 4/10. They feel about the same, and actually the hards towards the end of this thing actually get better. Kind of forget what I did last season. I think it was soft to hard, but I'm not entirely sure. Fred goes purple sector 1. About to see if he goes purple sector 2, as we got a caution through the S's. I believe that's just a Mercedes going slow.
DK's up to third now too.
Oh, it's a good lap from DK. I believe that's Wayo just on a doing his install lap. He's allowed to do an install lap.
Oh, Fred's 7/10 up.
That is very fast. He said that he could do 26.2s.
Oh, he might be close.
26.6. Close. I think he lost it going around the Casio triangle, that last complex. Easy to get a bit of oversteer. Pretty good lap from Fred. Right on board with Porridge. We're talking about last year's result. Porridge was the second highest placed returner, I guess you could say. Or actually the highest placed returner in P4. Tied for his best result of the season. Porridge had about probably 4 or 5 P4s last season. But obviously this season has not gone the way that he wanted to. Down there in P6 on 24 points. I know Burzy was kind of touting him as a dark horse for the championship. It looks like Acosta's probably got that one just about wrapped up already. But still 6 rounds left to finish strong for the Canadian.
Yeah, Porridge he's had such a solid kind of end to the season. Same vein as Andrew, but this grid has gotten so much faster than last year.
Yeah, I think overall, some of the guys that have replaced You know, me, Bod, Peyton, Amram. Yeah, they've definitely stepped it up a bit, but it's definitely worked pretty well. I think we've had a lot of good races so far. The pace hasn't changed that much, but I do believe that Acosta is he's probably a bit faster than we were at this stage last year. I think he's got the point total to prove it. Yeah, and because of that, actually, I also wanted to mention Freddie finished P2 on track last year. It was a bit of an incident with a few laps remaining. He got a 5-second penalty, so that bumps him down to P3. Acosta inherited P2 behind Bama.
And what's that point difference between Acosta and second place in the championship?
That is 94 to 56. Freddie behind him there is P3 with 55. So those two do have a chance to catch him. Obviously, you know, it's not the end of the world. Acosta could, you know, who knows, miss a race, DNF out of a race. Those two have definitely shown consistent pace throughout the first part of the season. Alfie in the other, I always want to say Force India, in the other racing point, but he's reserving along with his teammate for the night, Sozin, and he's going to go up to P4 for 127.6. First and fourth separated by a full second. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, it's pretty significant. Acosta as well, 14th, gonna be doing a one-shot quali to try to get close to Fred.
Yeah, no pressure on the Colombian.
None at all. None at all.
Let's see what he can do. Looks like he's gonna be the first one to go out of these front runners, or who we would expect to be front runners. Actually, it's going to be Andrew, I think. He is getting a tow from his teammate Google. Pop up back to Andrew here. You know, they've done this a few times, where it's not really getting a tow. It's more Google just leading them around the track at the end of qualifying. Because I think Google's going for the qualifying time as well. They're both on hot laps. It's just close enough that Andrew can get a slight draft. So we can see how virtual Mattia Binotto has the pecking order in that driver lineup set.
Hey, listen, don't knock it till you try it. When I was teammates with Blank a couple seasons ago, we would do that. I'd basically tow him around the whole track, and he'd stay with me, and you know, he'd be a few tenths off, but it still worked enough. The weirdest pseudo tow you'll ever see.
Pseudo tow. I like
pseudo
that.
Tow.
On the same set of softs.
Oh.
So that's interesting. I guess it is possible some guys might try to go for soft, medium, soft. I don't know if that's really ideal, but a learning ground for a lot of these folks.
Well, maybe, you know what, he might have just forgotten to swap it over.
Yeah, you never know. It is late over there.
It is late.
Not as Andrew, late, you know. Andrew P4, this is going to be Acosta's one chance, I think.
Oh my
P1
god.
P1 with a 26.659. Just a few hundredths of a second above Freddie. 4 pole. Stamping his authority, no pressure, like we said. Let's see if VTech, I believe. See where he's at on track. He's actually in the S's right now. I guess we'll wrap it up here with Freddie.
I think he's on an out lap. I think he'll just be starting a lap now.
Oh,
just gonna make the checkered flag.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, Bama's doing the same thing. As a matter of fact, so I guess I will go to VTech here. See, he comes around. We'll see what that Sector 2 time is for him. I believe VTech will be one of the drivers competing in the 12 Hours of Sebring for the Contest of Speed iRacing slot next weekend.
Very cool. I'd love to do a 24-hour race.
I know,
like
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun when you're just hanging out around there.
Yeah, Freddy Purple Sector 1.
Well, let's go back to him then. I believe this will be probably a little bit more intense. Got all 4 of these guys here. And this is DK. He's getting a tow from Alfie. I don't know if it's particularly wanted though. Oh, Alfie is in the way, DK. No.
Not what you want to see from
you don't like to see that. Fred had through 130R in just a second. He is 1/10 up on his previous Sector 2 time. Excuse me. He'll be finishing slightly ahead of Bama.
Maybe a little slow through the last bit.
Hugging that inside line. It's going to do it. 418. Fast enough for AM2 pole last season as well. Bama behind him cannot improve. Well, maybe he does improve a little bit to a 126.7, but nothing on track. Steven on that fresh set of softs, he's already invalidated. And I believe that is going to be that here from Suzuka International Circuit.
Is DK on the lap?
Nah, I don't think he got back in time. I mean, it might have got that glitch. I don't know.
Well, we are a little behind, so he might have actually just made it.
Hey, you might be right. You might be right. We'll ride along with DK, see if he can improve on P4. Had a P4 earlier this season in Hungary. Going full time in that Red Bull as Acosta's teammate.
He's out of fuel.
Yep. Just a little short. Well, okay, so that'll do it unofficially because we aren't quite sure if Fredhead will keep that #1 spot, having joined after the session had already started. But he is on pole right now. Acosta behind him in P2, Bama in P3. I believe we're starting to see a pretty clear pecking order form after the first 4 rounds. I think it's these 3. Maybe not head and shoulders, but maybe like C2 vertebrae up on the rest of the competition.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting. I guess with qualifying over, getting who's your top 3?
I don't like to root in the commentary box, but if I had to guess, we're going to have to see at the start of this. It's hard to pick against Acosta. Won the first 3 rounds, finished P2 last week. But Bama's showing some form. I'm not sure if he really has league raced. I know typically it takes a few races to kind of get your feet wet, and he's starting to acclimatize quite well. So I don't know. I mean, I'm expecting this top 5 here to be pretty impressive. Also VTech in P6. Shout out to him. Alfie in P7. Steve in P8. Porge P9. Clay in P10. Cezanne. I don't know how to say that. Arkaka, Google. DJ Motown Motor City. Probably disappointed that P15 Casweo will complete your grid. I don't know. Everybody get your predictions in right now. Maybe that'll help me formulate mine. We'll read some of your guys' comments. I believe Kinkster22. I'm not sure. I guess that might be Bama. I think it's Bama 22. Yeah, it says first league ever. I mean, not really a surprise. I think he said he's only 14. So I know I wasn't league racing when I was 14. In fact, I wasn't league racing until I was like 25. But Joel, Jack. Oh, Jack says he's watching Americas because I'm not tired. Daylight Savings claims another victim from Jack Long. DK does say that Racing Point blocked my entire lap. Caught that on stream. Yeah, it's unfortunate for DK. But a P4 is not the worst consolation prize. I know that is still probably pretty frustrating for him. But should be a good race. Let's say Andrew in P5 for a podium. think he's probably due for one. Due for one after a lackluster top or first 4 rounds by his standards.
I mean, like you say, it's hard to root against Acosta for the win, but hopefully Fred can keep.
Oh, yep. Fred has indeed started on pole, so we got in just in time. There was a snafu last week with Hilly at EU4, where he qualified P2 at the last second, but got sent to the back because he joined late. So that's good news for Freddie. I'm sure he is not going to be too disappointed. And I'm going to flip onto the tires. Looking through the back, got a lot of guys on mediums. Not to be, or that is to be expected. Young DJ CJ and P14. He's going to be starting on the softs. And then, interestingly enough, P16 and P17, Kaz and Wayo. We'll be starting on that harder compound. Really takes a while for those to rubber in, but I feel like if you're going to try to pick your way up into the top 10 pit onto the softs, you're going to have a 2-second pace advantage probably at the end of this race. Which could come in handy, I would believe, if you are racing the cars. But one more time through the field. Freddie, Acosta, Bama, DK, Andrew, VTech, Alfie, P7, despite that incident in qualifying with DK. Steven in P8, Porridge P9, Clay Funk P10. I believe that's Clay's best qualifying of the season. Sozon Pat, the Greek man, in P11. Arkaka P12, Google Dougal P13, now DJ CJ in P14, Motown, Motor City in P15, Kaz in P16, and Wayo also on the hards, down there at the back of the grid. Very chaotic run down to first, to the first turn. The aptly named first turn. It's just called first turn. But things obviously get pretty wild with that double apex right-hander.
Yeah, what was? Clayton, you need to say it. What's your top 3, man?
Okay, I'm gonna go. Gun to my head. I'm gonna say.
Yep.
Acosta, Fred, Andrew. Sorry, Bama. But I don't think we're gonna see much deviation outside of this top 5, unless there's some real shenanigans. I mean, safety cars are, of course, on the docket. You never know what you're going to see. Pole time was a 26.4. Yes, you're correct, Jack. Sorry. Alright, well, we got lights. Not sure if we're going to get a glitch. We do. Let's watch those revs build up to 13,000 RPM. Damn, we're really flooring it there.
Oh, wow. Was he ever?
Yeah, let's see how it turns out for him. Bold strategy, Cotton Freddy with a great start. Releases, and I think Bama's going to be able to get Acosta as well. Acosta getting swamped. Under pressure from Andrew as well early on. Action zone into turn 3. Very dangerous. Don't want to go side by side through there. Looks like everybody is through clean. For the time being, of course, right now, Alfie dropped a spot. Suzanne probably got an extra spot. Who's that? Is that Steven running wide through the Casio triangle?
Oh, DK spins!
That's DK off.
Wow.
And Steven had to take evasive action. That ruins both of that for that first lap for both of them. Mark Kaka and Motor going at it as well. Leo Flow up to P11 already after the start. That is quite the start from the Guatemalan.
On hards, he's in such a good position. Now he just has to kind of keep it constant, and he's in a great spot.
He is. Clay Funk up there. Actually, Leo shows him the front wing in that left mirror, and Clay Funk jumps a little wide. Think that these softs are going to have the competitive edge again, probably for the first 6 or 7 laps over Leo, but you can hold position there. Without relinquishing much as Motor. Oh, oh
no!
Oh, that is.
Oh no!
Yeah, you can see his. That might be a safety car. You can see his VSC deployed. VSC. That is a big impact. What does Tass say that G load was? ripped off the front left corner. Looks like he just dropped those two left wheels on the grass on the inside of 130R, and couldn't get control of it again. That is tough for Motor. Early on, but Freddie with a 1 second advantage, the old 2011 Sebastian Vettel special, breaking DRS in the first lap.
Also, we missed it. Acosta got Bama for P2 as well at some point.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. So
wow.
Not sure where that happened, but that was quite the start from Bama. But Acosta apparently fought back at some point. So well done to him. VTech up a spot as well. And P5, obviously DK has dropped it down to P16. That is such a scary thing. It happened to me while I was leading at the end of the race last year. I believe it was Kaz had dropped in that same exact spot. And let me tell you what, if you want to talk about fluids leaving your body, I was about as close.
Wow.
It's about as close as it gets. Because he ghosted last second, and I had to do the same thing that Steven did. But luckily, I was able to hold on to it. Unfortunately for Steven, there was just too many cars behind him. He had to give way to everyone, so he's all the way down there in P14. Kaz, looks like Kaz might have made a mistake there. He jumped up a couple spots.
Now, Ricky makes a really good point in the chat saying he's surprised no one gambled onto hards. So I remember last year, AM1, there was a safety car immediately, and the guys who went onto the hards, they had a huge advantage over the people trying to do the normal strategy, so that's a pretty interesting strat there, but no one looks like they've opted for it.
Yeah, it's true. I actually want to say, I believe when I was racing Ricky in the EU3 race last season, I did that after an early safety car, and I wound up finishing, I think, P4 behind him. I'm really digging deep in the memory banks for that. I don't remember most of Mondays. But Clay Funk has opened up that gap to Wayo. You were expecting this. But Wayo is stabilizing that gap to DJ CJ as well. So Wayo, yeah, again, looking like he might be in the best position out of anyone outside of the top 5 right now.
Yeah, we're, I think the biggest thing right now on track, Andrew almost at a DRS of Bama. Bama almost at a DRS of Acosta. These guys need to kind of keep with the car, or else they're going to lose this train that's, going to keep them in.
Yeah, this is interesting. Let's see. Okay, Acosta did barely just get it. So that is extremely important by the skin of his chinny chin chin. He has remained within DRS, and that's imperative because a lot of the times, if you see P1 at Suzuka break away, it's just impossible to catch back up. Without that DRS, there's nowhere to overtake except for turn 1 with the DRS power.
I wonder. I was almost wondering if Bama had damage because I feel like I was expecting him to keep right up with Fred and Acosta, but he must just be struggling a bit on this first stint.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, these softs.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, but I mean, he is keeping the gap to Andrew behind him. So, at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world. Check out Andrew's teammate in P9. If you want to talk about guys having a bit of an underwhelming season so far, both the Ferraris. Doc Google would come in and challenge for some podiums, and he's averaging 2 points per race. So that's where he is right now on the medium tires. I believe him along with Sozan Pat. I'm just gonna call him 96. I really hate not being able to. I really hate not being able to pronounce things. I'm a big enunciation guy, but I just don't know how to say that with some sort of Greek flair. So I'm just gonna call him the Greek Freak. Sorry guys. Giannis Antetokounmpo has really ruined that for everyone from Greece, from this small-minded American's point of view. Everyone this week is the Greek Freak.
Talking of Sozan, or the Greek Freak, Porridge and Google both within 3/10 of each other behind him, so they're wanting to get by, and get on with their race as Wayo's fallen 2 seconds behind Playful.
2 seconds. DJ CJ also in DRS range now. To Wayo. That. Oh, is Porridge. Porridge is the first to get a 3 second time penalty through Degner 182 outside. They're easy to do, but the good news is whenever you do that, you could completely just lose the car because you touch the grass and basically die. So that's not ideal. VTech has gotten it to within 1 second here on Andrew, but it looks like VTech is completely burning off his ERS in order to stay in that range.
Top 3 pretty even on ERS now that you brought it up. Wayo sitting on 77, so he's just, I think he knows he's in a good spot, gonna bide his time.
Yeah, and I think a big problem for Wayo so far, he's obviously been quick, but he's been extremely inconsistent. Lots of 12, 15 second time penalty days, and you're just not going to win races doing that. So I think, discretion is the better part of valor in this situation for Wayo on those hard tires. They're probably just now starting to not feel like the little rubber tires that come
Oh no! Porridge just lost it!
Oh no. Oh no.
Dirty air of Sozin after that turn 1.
Turn 3, oh no. Oh, that's tough for Porridge.
Oh, Porridge.
Any damage? Oh,
DNF, buddy.
What's he doing? Oh, stay with it, Porridge. Oh no.
Vamu joining one of our casualties to time change.
Yep, one of our casualties to time change. Wonder how long he's going to stick around. He might be
probably quite confused right now.
What time is it? It's 8:41. This is usually when when invites would come out.
My empathy right now is like feeling that wave of anxiety, like you're an hour late to the test, but you thought it like you were on time. But
I did that one time in college for a final. I was 1 hour late, and I walked in, and just everybody raises their heads and looked at me in this like 200-person auditorium. I was like, oh, I messed that one up, didn't I? Acosta now within 5/10. Too many bush lights at Cams the night before. What can I say? Acosta pretty much on the gearbox of Fred now. This gap is increasingly closed. ERS is somewhat close, but Acosta does have the advantage. That is the way to overtake around here, is to manage that ERS. Rely on your natural pace around the flowing part of this circuit, and then hopefully try to get a move done with ERS into the Casio triangle, or with DRS and ERS into turn 1.
Yeah, well, it looks like there's about 3 guys wanting to line up moves. We got Acosta on Fred, Andrew on BTech, Playfunk on Google with a Wayo kind of chilling, and then Stefan loses it through the first sector and comes together with DK. I think he's got a bit of wing damage.
DK's day is just going from bad to worse. Let's see if we can spot any wing damage.
I guess I got that fancy pass.
Oh, that is the right front end plate on DK gone. This day is going from bad to worse. DK had a good race going last week as well, but unfortunately taken out pretty early on. What?
I have an interesting stat for you.
What's that?
If I'm reading the task right, Wayo has just set the fastest sector 1.
I haven't really practiced a whole lot yet because we did some practice. We did a couple hours for the ED1 race a couple of weeks ago.
And Andrew on VTech.
When did VTech get past him in the first place? I don't know.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, but these hards, the hards really pick up after about 6-7 laps, and they're every bit as good as a medium around here. The real only concern, especially in these first few laps on cold hards, is right here through Dunlop, where you're going to have to lift. It's very difficult to keep the power down. Nonetheless, accosting Fred. Oh, Fred with a 3 second time penalty.
Yeah, that's not what he wants.
I'm not sure if I gave you guys a weather report, but it's overcast, but no rain is expected in either session. Obviously, we've already done one of them, and there was no rain. And now we're a third of the way through this one, and there's still no rain. But Freddie with that penalty, dude, I'll tell you what that's down to, Arbar. Exactly what it's down to. This pressure. It's down to the pressure that Acosta's putting in. They've broken. I mean, these guys are flying right now. They've broken 6 seconds on Bama there in P3. Even then, this is still kind of spread out back here between Andrew and Vitek.
Well, pressure is just it, and Acosta on 80% ERS is just relentlessly hunting down Fred on 30. I think where Fred is probably one of the worst positions to be in.
Yeah, he's
I wouldn't want to be in.
He's gonna feel like a sitting duck right now.
Yeah.
I guess he does have some opportunities. Oh, is Acosta forcing him, and it's an even race once again.
We got a ball game. Wayo, really, I think he's gonna start wanting to get by Clay Funk here. Clay Funk probably pitting soon, but I think Wayo has a lot more pace in these tires than he's able to show right now.
Yeah, with these guys going off these tires in a couple laps, though, I think if Wayo just saves some ERS, saves his fuel, think about, I mean, he'll have clear track here with a couple, well, I guess Google and the Greek Freak are both on mediums, so that'll be a little while longer. But I think he'll be able to really go once Clay Funk dives in.
Fair enough. Alfie on his fresh hards, looking for a move on Cass on his 8-lap hards.
Oh, Freddie with the undercut.
Oh. Ooh, I think that's the way to go, Kit. And what about you?
Yeah, I think that's really his best chance right now. Costa's obviously demonstrating some extremely good pace.
Alfie basically inside of Kaz.
Ooh, whoa.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That's not gearbox, I should clarify, sorry.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, I always say that's how F2 cars are made. But I think Bama followed Fred into the pits. We're going to see what the tire choices are going to be for those two. Let's see here. Mediums for Bama and mediums for Fred.
Fair enough. Tom Robo in EU2 today had quite a good race going on to the hards.
Yeah, I only watched qualifying and like the last 3 laps, but I enjoyed like all 15 minutes of it.
I mean, shout out! I know Ricky has been in the chat. We had a
Ricky's in the chat listening to his new song.
Oh, Google! Oh no, he's in the wall.
Oh, that's on the inside of the hairpin. Oh, so easy to lose it under traction. Out of there. That is
safety car. Acosta, this is huge.
Oh, this is big. This is big, and that's not going to be a difficult decision for everyone behind him here.
Wayo, and
what this is going to do is
go to mediums.
These medium runners, they are going to be. This is a very awkward spot. Lap 11, you might just have to throw on hards, which may have a pace advantage at the end, but they're going to be not feeling too great on the restart. I'll tell you that.
Fred gets back to P2, but I think he's going to be a little upset that Acosta, through the safety car, will inherit this lead.
Yeah, we liked it at the time, like that undercut, but yeah, you never know when a safety car is going to come around here, and that really just came back to bite Fred in the gearbox.
I really gotta say, I like how the task describes a DNF. It says Google Dougal broke his car.
Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy it. Obviously, TAS is written in French, then translated to English, and it's so much more blunt. Everything's so much.
It's great. Well, winners and losers. I mean, Wayo's probably a little disappointed because now, instead of jumping a bunch of people on an alternate strat, he's found himself kind of stuck in P8 behind, you know, 7 other people on the same tire.
Yeah, but he will be on mediums compared to Freak
True.
there in P6. Oh, I didn't even realize I'm wearing a backwards hat. I went to scratch the back of my neck and just like almost broke my finger off. But yeah, it's,
How hard are you gonna scratch the back of your neck?
Extremely. I have delicate little hands for an adult man. I have very small hands and feet. I don't know. I'm a mutt. Way up here in P8. I do think that he could get around Clay just based on pace. Even strats, he should be able to make his way up the field, especially on Greek Freak there in P6, maybe VTech in P5, but this is probably the best race VTech's been able to put together since he came into AM2 about midway through last season. So we'll see how it goes with the top 4, pretty much status quo as what we expected. Obviously DK was a casualty. He's currently in P11 on that opening.
He's right back in it.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely the best case scenario for him, at least to get some points here. He is surrounded by some hard runners in Arkaka, DJ, CJ, and who's that? Oh, Alfie behind him. Google has left the session, I'm sure. Not sure what Andrew just heard, but I'm sure it was not pretty coming from Google after we assumed he lost it. Under traction coming out of the hairpin, just sent him right into that inside wall. Didn't seem like it shouldn't be that hard of a hit. You're really only accelerating for like 50 miles an hour. I'm not sure what that is in kilometers, but it's not very fast.
Kit and Weave, I think Bodhod displays it best. He's had some incredibly high impact crashes, going about 10 kilometers an hour that have popped his wheels off. So.
Yeah, I don't know how he did it, but he's actually racing on simulation damage.
Like, you know, I mean, some people just like the added challenge.
I'm trying to catch up on the comment section. Nice to see that we have some more Europeans than usual. Typically, it's just like it's just Joel. It's really just Joel, and sometimes JSAC. Yeah, and then most people just watch it later, so I don't really have a whole lot to interact with. There's the time difference.
Just talk to Bodhod and good to go. Before we get onto the comments, I do just want to bring up a little piece of COS history for everybody at home. Some of the most infamous crashes at Japan in contest of speed history in the AM side of things have been under a safety car. Most notable, Juventus losing it under the bridge in T1, crashing out of his race.
Yeah, that is. I did watch some of the race from last season back, and Berzy and DK were both referring to Juventus Bridge.
Yep.
Every 2 or 3 laps. I wasn't around for that part. I don't know. I don't know what happened in that situation, but that is Juventus Bridge here in AM2 or AM.
Kaz just hit and took a 5-second penalty.
And he's going onto the softs. Going to be 13 laps after the safety car comes in, assuming it comes in at the end of this one. Interesting strategy to say the least. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make it that far. We'll be in puncture territory at the end. But maybe, not sure what kind of, maybe he did practice on it. A lot of different scenarios you can practice. Perhaps this was one of them for the Canadian. Freddie's just been constantly warming up these mediums, and Acosta's just kind of chilling. Oh, now he goes. There he goes. Good job. On cue. But predictions for the rest of this race are, Bart. I think this kind of feels like Acosta has a chance to kind of run away with this, with Freddie just tagging along behind him the rest of the way. Not to make you guys want to turn off the stream, but if you haven't watched AM2 so far this season, Acosta again won round 1 in Spa in dominating fashion in the wet by about 25 seconds. Came back in round 2 in Hungary, won by about 10 seconds, I think. And then in round 3 in Monaco, he also won, running away from Freddie in a situation somewhat similar to this. Before last week finishing P2 to Bama in Abu Dhabi. Safety car is in. Costa's going to back up the grid. This is actually a really sketchy restart here. Oh, and Bama's all over the back of Freddie. Cat and mouse. Acosta's going to back these guys out. Oh, doesn't look like
going to get a good round on Bama.
Yep. I think Bama went a little too early. He thought that Acosta was going after the chicane, but he did not. But nonetheless, he will hold that spot. Andrew on the hards. Kind of surprised he didn't go to mediums. We'll see if he'll be vulnerable to VTEC in these first couple laps. Is that Arkaka? Oh, we got Clayfunk's
out. Oh no!
He's already passed. I can't see where he went off. Somewhere.
One of the S's.
Yeah, somewhere through the S's.
Right before we go up the hill.
And that's unfortunate for Clayfunk. He looked pretty solid for some points here today. Who knows? DK. Oh, whoa! What is going on back here? We're going 3 wide. Oh my lord! Alfie almost loses it.
Oh, young DJ's off. He lost it. Touched the grass.
Oh, and that's another one.
He has retired. No.
VSC that is a left rear suspension failure. I'm not a mechanic, but it does look like that left rear suspension has failed. These guys were DK, Arkaka, and Alfie were all they were like 3 wide coming out of the hairpin. I'm not sure how they got so bunched up, but it looked like something was possibly going to go down in that situation. And DJ with those cold hard tires was unfortunately the last man standing.
I have a sneaking suspicion that young DJ might have hit the tire button as soon as he went. My task message does not say he broke his back. But
well, on stream that the car looked pretty broken. But again, I'm not an expert. We got a pretty good shot of it.
I'm no engineer.
Hey, it looked pretty totaled. VTEC still trying on Andrew. I think VTEC should be. I think once DRS opens, now Andrew's vulnerable. He's already dropped out from Bama. I think VTEC might be able to challenge you for a P4. Should be a career best result for the Puerto Rican.
Yeah, VTEC, he's ever since he got into COS, he's improved so much. You know, he used to struggle for getting points, and now he's running in the top 5 quite comfortably. It kind of warms my heart to see people improving.
Yeah, he's got the whole setup. I think he just needs reps. Hopefully practicing with the iRacing guys who are probably pretty considerably faster than him. Hopefully he can assimilate to that pace and keep ascending here. But he is extremely close. DRS is going to be this lap, next lap, I guess. So let's see what happens there. Arkaka and Weo. Weo is in P7 on the back of Greek Creek. And this entire train here is dangerous through the S section.
Dangerous. I like that descriptor as the Greek Freak picks up another penalty. Or was that his first?
That was his first. Let's check the penalties right now. Nobody has gotten a second 3-second penalty yet, so that's a good sign. Everybody's at 3 except for Kaz. He got speeding in the pit lane under his safety car. They've got a couple of... Oh, VTech did get injured as I went back there. Not sure where that happened.
Those two have swapped a lot of places today, I think.
Yeah, they have, but you know, now Andrew's going to have DRS, I believe. Yep. So that might be a saving grace as Acosta pours in a fastest lap. He has that gap there at 0.8 of a second. Freddie's hoping to stay in DRS.
It would be hard pressed to take that win off of Acosta.
Yeah,
but if anyone can do it, it's him.
Yep, they have proven it today. Those are the two fastest guys on the grid. Just a little bit quicker than Bama and VTech. This is a good points day, though, for AlphaTauri. Currently sitting second. 56 points off of their sister program. Say big sister program, Red Bull. As someone has gone off somewhere. There was a yellow flag. I'm not sure what that is. I think it might be the two McLarens back here in P11 and P12. Just following them around for a little bit. I think one of those guys dropped out of the top 10. I think that was Porridge with another mistake. Porridge having a tough day today. Really thought that he was a dark horse for a P3 this afternoon, but things just have not gone his way. I think doing a good job, still keeping that at around 9/10. Could be a good old-fashioned Mexican standoff here, where the first one to pick up that 3-second time penalty, the second one, if it happens. You never know. As we get this incredible shot of Freddie's inside suspension. I don't know why that's even... Why? Who cares? I don't want to see that. I'm trying to... Let's get some better views, Codemasters. Where's the helicopter at? I think the helicopter pilot called in sick today, so I haven't seen a single one all afternoon. 0.6 is the gap, but Acosta is saving all this ERS at the same time. VTech looking like he's starting to break away from Andrew a little bit. Gets a little wide through Dagger 1.
So tough to break the DRS here because just one little mistake and he lost 4/10 and the guy's back into DRS.
That's true. Whale Flow finally looking like he might be able to get that move done. Looks like both of these racing points are going to be falling here pretty soon. DK on those 9-lap-old hards. And that is optimal range for the team. And he will be probably be better than 6-lap-old mediums right now.
Oh, he's looking good. Is he going to do it through 130R?
He's going to do it on the outside. Both of them going to do it at the same time. Oh, I think he's going to get it done. Oof. If he turned it a little early. I think Wayo here is going to wait for DRS, and this is going to be easy.
Oh, he's got such a good run on Big Freak, as we're lovingly calling him now.
No, that's not to say that he's a freak in any way. We just don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sure he's a perfectly well acclimated person. Not a freak at all. DK now. Oh, Alfie got DK back in the Casio Triangles. You're watching the other racing point get past. So did not see that coming. I thought DK had that wrapped up around 130R, and DK, oh man, look at him. He is really just about lost it. That was an incredible save through Dunlop. But now it's these three once again. DK's in a British sandwich.
Yeah, we have, what do we have left? 8 laps to go. The hard runners are going to start, I think, losing a bit of their advantage. Mediums, for me, didn't really seem to fall off too much.
Well, I guess it depends on how you're driving them. I quite like the hards later on in the race. But I think that safety car, just a little bit before halfway, really probably threw everything out of the window. I don't know, I think Freddie might have just lost DRS. No, he barely got it. He's trying. But Acosta is trying to break it on the other side.
Oh, and Andrew gets a VTEC. No! Oh, he has to back out of it. Almost loses the car. VTEC's gonna retain that position. Oh,
only caught the end of that. That is one of my favorite shots in all of F1 games. Is that wide panning shot in the first corner. I love that one from the wall. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that in all its glory.
Oh. I got a little distracted.
This guy's what's your words per minute, Marbar?
Sorry. I say it's pretty good. I type a lot. Evidence of my schooling. It's one of my few skills. Oh, but we don't need to talk about that. We can talk about games.
You know, I gotta say, I took a keyboarding class when I was a sophomore in high school, and it was the easiest class I ever took.
Okay.
But it was also one of the most helpful. I actually ran a fantasy NBA league in that class. I still got a rank like a 100, and I learned how to type fast. So it was actually long term extremely helpful. And I told my teacher that. Like 10 years later. Fred Head gaining again, but I mean, if you're looking at that ERS gap, I think Acosta has to make a mistake.
Oh, that ERS gap makes me want to cry for Fred. That's
Acosta essentially needs to either pick up a penalty or
put it in a wall.
Yep. Yeah, in order to do that. I mean, Freddie's doing everything he can.
Fred kind of alludes to it in the few interviews he's done where he says, Acosta, he's really lucky. It seems to always work out, and I think that's just a product of Acosta having very, very good consistency. Because with consistency comes the whole being in the right place at the right time.
It's true. It's true. I mean, he looked dead to rights in Hungary. He was, I believe, P7 after the first pit stop, but everybody else just kind of fell to the wayside and wound up taking that win comfortably with the great undercut strategy. And, we don't really know what would have happened here. There's the helicopter shot. Thank you to Burnt Mylander's brother, the helicopter pilot. He is turnt AF right now. He's still going down the front straight. Doing enough to hang in that 6th to 8/10 region.
Yeah.
But so difficult to overtake.
Oh, Andrew and VTEC swapping once again. Andrew's going to get it done.
Yep, these guys are
instead of going onto the grass.
These guys are really getting after it. It's been low-key the most action we've had all day between these two. I feel like they've been within about a second of each other since the lights went out. I'm gonna say that's a good omen for VTEC as well for the rest of the season. That DK, did something happen?
Yeah, I think he might have lost it, or I'm not quite sure. As Porridge has gotten really close to Stefan too. It's settled down a lot from the kind of the chaos that we had a few laps ago.
Yeah, and you would expect that to happen as well. In Japan, great circuit, classic circuit, but it's just not really conducive to that good of racing in modern F1 cars. Really hard to follow a car around, only to get really one shot and overtake around such a twisty circuit.
It's kind of been a theme for the season. We've had Hungary, we've had Monaco, we had Japan, all very, very difficult overtaking circuits. But other than Monaco, I think they've produced some solid races. Monaco even too, if you produce driving some walls.
Yeah, I mean that always makes it interesting in itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, And if I had my way, Monaco would never be on a schedule in real life order.
Listen, it's a hot take for some, but it's a dated track that doesn't need to exist.
Do an exhibition race around there.
Yeah.
Shouldn't count towards a championship.
Like a Indy 500, you get a bunch of people to come in for like one thing or something.
Speaking of the Indy 500, won't be going this year. Very disappointed.
Really?
Because yeah, still haven't announced the capacity, and honestly, I would kind of feel bad if I went. It does. Already broke my streak of 4 years last season. But I do have tickets, so I might try to sell it to some old person that feels like driving 3 hours to get COVID. But yeah, really bummer, Mission Acosta, my favorite driver ever, Juan Pablo Montoya, will be making his return to Indy 500, so it would have been nice to see him in person, but I would presume it's probably the last time.
Kitten. There's two gaps I'm a little curious on, or that I think are interesting. Number one, Porridge behind Stefan. He's been keeping about 3 tenths to the driver ahead, so might get a swap there. And then the second is Wayo has been closing in on VTech, ready to join the party with him and Andrew.
Very interesting. That is interesting indeed. And 1.6 seconds here. Obviously, Andrew and VTech going kind of hand over fist. Well, Wayo gets a little wide. I think he might have heard us mention his name. Got a little excited. But these guys have been battling this entire time. So I think it's really given Wayo a chance to hopefully join the party and make some noise later on. Same tires as VTech though. Same distance, same everything. And honestly, Andrew might have the advantage by now. But not entirely sure. We got the racing points. They just swapped. Alfie to P7. Was that
Taz is out?
I think that's in the pits.
No, it's you know what? It might be a
no, that's a VSC. I think that's probably a pit wall. He did put those softs on at the end of the. Let's see if we can find him. Oh yeah, that is pit wall. That is the pit wall for Kaz. Oof. Tricky pit lane situation around here, but that is the good old-fashioned Dresabassen award for the day. Unfortunately, going to Kaz in the pit wall.
I gotta say, Dresse's DNFs in pit walls, one of the things that brings the most joy to see.
It is. It's quite the ability that he's got to do that. Just going all out, balls to the wall. You know what? I appreciate that about dear Andreas. I believe here, I was about to comment on how these guys had not picked up another time penalty after the first time penalty. Greek Freak has proved me wrong. Right as I was going to mention that he was picked up second of the day. Still pretty impressive though. You see a lot of these guys, a lot of the races so far this year, you've seen 12s, 15s, 18s.
Yeah.
For all of them to keep it at 3s, it's a nice improvement. Freddie trying to get back into DRS for one last chance. I think he's got it done. He's got it done, but he's burning whatever he has left of that ERS. Let's see that situation again. Acosta has dropped that from 80 down to 30 in the past couple of laps. So Freddie might have a chance here to put the pressure on Acosta and maybe do what Acosta did to him at the end of that first stint.
Yeah, for a second under that VSC, I saw a 2-second gap and I thought the fight was over, but now Fred's kind of coming back at the end. Maybe it's tire wear, maybe it's Maybelline, but he might have a shot at this.
Yeah, he might. But the circuit is finicky on time penalties as Suzuka. It is possible. Not without. Can you check on Taz? Can you see the warnings? Acosta really driving hard right now. We haven't seen him.
You know what?
Making these mistakes. You can probably check the warnings here until the last lap.
Really quick, Acosta 4 warnings. Fred 4 warnings. Bama 2 warnings.
Oh, that is the Greek Freak has dropped it to the S's.
Oh no. And who's that? Porridge is right behind him, so maybe Porridge, he can't get Stefan, but maybe he can get a...
Freddie had a moment. Freddie had a moment coming out of Spoon, but didn't lose much time. That was a tank slapping right there.
Gary, I mean, okay, and this is the gap you want. He gets a good release, dumps everything he has. Costa has 30% more ERS though. Oh no.
Yeah, I think they're... Yep, just not close. For the Canadian. On the Colombian. You can see if Sectors looked a little more out of control than he usually does. I think he was definitely feeling that pressure. You could see him through that. Lost about half a second, which allowed Freddie to close the gap this much. I think his final chance is going to be getting a great exit through here and then getting a great exit through Spoon.
Oh,
and I jinxed it. And I jinxed it. Sorry, Fred.
The commentator's curse smacks the rear out from Fred. You hate to see it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I could see it last lap. He had one through here, through Spoon, where he almost lost it. I think those rears are starting to give up.
D-Tech swapped with Andrew once again at the start of the lap.
Yeah, these guys are... I don't know how to explain it. It's been pretty nice though, but that's going to be Acosta. 4th win on the season, I believe. He's probably the first driver in any tier to 4 wins so far this year. 4 out of 5 for the Colombian. Not too bad. Freddie gave it his all there for P2, but just not quite enough to get past his...
Wait, Wayo got ahead of Andrew. I thought Andrew was sitting on penalties.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Andrew did.
Wait, it says he's a lap down.
Okay, I believe that's a glitch of some sort.
Yeah, that's...
so we're gonna go forward assuming that Andrew did finish P5.
Yeah, Tass, I think.
Did this Tass have a P5? That's very strange.
Yeah, it has been P7. I'm very confused.
I'm extremely confused as well. I've never seen that one before, gotta say. Okay, well, interesting enough. Wayo flow for Wayo who gets driver of the day. No complaints here. I don't think you would disagree either. Up to I think P6 from last place after serving that quality ban from some transgressions of Monaco. So. There we go. Acosta, yet again. On the top step. Freddie, yet again. Just a little behind. Why does Freddie's guy look like Marcus Ericsson? Bama and P3, I think, as we mentioned at the top of this broadcast, I believe these 3 are really starting to gap here. VTech, his best ever finish in P4, so big props to him. Wayo listed in P5. DK did a good job coming back for P6. Alfie and Steven, or Alfie reserving in P7. Steven now full-time in P8. Porridge, P9, did get some points at the end of the day, but he probably won a little more. Greek Freak there in P10. Takes the last one, the EU3 reserve from the beautiful Mediterranean country. Arkaka 11, Andrew 12, but we think he's going to finish higher. Kaz 13, Young DJ 14, Clay Funk 15, Google 16, and Motor was the first casualty of the day, rounding up the Field. It's been fun. Not sure if we're going to do interviews this week, because that's usually Bod's role. I'm not really good at doing interviews, unless you want to do them.
Kitten, that sounds like the perfect get-out-of-jail-free card for not doing interviews.
I mean, the Costa doesn't speak English, that's also a problem.
And Bama had a boring race.
Yeah, Bama had a pretty boring race. I mean, I would like to hear those two kind of talk about it, but at the same time, we're not able to communicate with the Costa. He can understand, read, and type English, right. but he's just not very confident in speaking it, and I'm not going to force him to go out of his comfort zone. So I think I guess on that note, let's just wrap it up. Arbor, do you know where we're at next week?
Bahrain.
Bahrain, my favorite track. Just kidding.
Oh.
It's my best. It's probably my best track, but it's not my favorite. But I do enjoy it. Puts on great racing. Love that jewel in the middle of that desert island. I guess aside from that, really, we can boost up ED1 and ED2. They'll be qualifying Thursday, qualifying Friday and racing on Saturday. Of course, you'll see EU1 with those actual freaks of nature in some fastest drivers on this game racing tomorrow afternoon. That's going to be 6 o'clock Eastern for all of you in America and, well, I guess the Americas, right? And the iRacing team, I'm not sure if they're streaming it, but they are doing, I think, a 4-hour test run at Sebring. They got one LMP2 team and I think 2 GT3 teams is what we're going to be doing. About 11 drivers involved in that, not including KV. So that'll be fun to keep an eye on. If not this weekend, they will be racing the full 12 hours next week from virtual Florida. Yeah. I don't know. Arbor, any closing thoughts?
It was a fun race. Congratulations to Acosta, and Andrew, if you're listening, we'll right the wrong of whatever the heck the game did to you.
Yeah, you have been assaulted by the game, and I apologize for that, Andrew. You know, it might be because I'm the one setting up the lobby. I don't know, but I'm not wired up. What can I say? But yeah, that'll do it from here in Suzuka. And we'll see you next week in the Kingdom of Bahrain.